coming to you somewhat live from somewhere in Northeast America. Projecting himself into New York City. Your host, Pokemon, and his seasonal allergies. Bring you the hit show, On Strike. Good evening, everyone. We are back for another episode of On Strike. I love being on this set. I can smell Jimmy Fallon's cologne. I can smell the comedic genius oozing off this set.
Oh man, I am jittering just at the mention of him.
Hey, settle down, Harold. If you shake too much, you might knock down one of the TVs, and there's no one here to pick it back up.
Oh, you are right. I will hold my love for Jimmy Fallon in.
Thanks, buddy. I know it's hard. In terms of worldwide news, across the world, people are taking to the streets in hopes of creating a better life for those that are mistreated. All we have to say here for them is, go get 'em, Tiger. Get it, Harold? That's a reference to Mary Jane from Spider-Man, from Marvel.
Oh, good reference.
In terms of Marvel Strike Force news, the X-Force are coming soon. No longer shall Cable and Deadpool be homeless. Soon they shall form a team with X-23, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Domino, and we here are anxiously awaiting their release. So now I think it's about time to introduce our special guest. Our guest is well known for his creation of the MSF for MSF campaign, where thousands were raised for coronavirus relief, and currently he is streaming through Dark Dimension 3 and offers dozens of helpful guides on how to tackle specific challenges in the game. Please welcome PauloP13, everyone. Hey everyone, I'm back. Paulo is here with me. Paulo, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello everyone.
Oh, awesome. So again, we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to ask him a total of 6 questions with trivia in between. We're going to start out with a pretty fun question. What is your favorite team to run in Marvel Strike Force, Paulo?
My favorite team to run in Marvel Strike Force. Well, admittedly, that changes about every week, but right now it's actually Black Order, just because the 1 in 3 chance I'll give it that you end up an entire battle with a Thanos snap and just disintegrating your opponents. It's pretty fun. That
is a really cool effect. Unfortunately, I, as some of you may know, did not unlock Emily Moss, so I cannot use them, but they do. And I hear his basic attack is really cool, like Thanos' basic attack. It's really good.
Yeah, someone kept asking which T4s, which T4s, which T4s. Like, I completely just ignored Thanos' basic. I'm like, you're not going to really need that. The only thing is you get a touch more bleed damage. And then after using them for like 2 days, I'm like, okay, time to do the Thanos basic. This is incredible.
Yeah, no, there's AoE and everything. Oh man, it's such a cool team. All right, so we learned a little bit more about what you enjoy in Marvel Strike Force. Can you talk a little bit more about your real life? Do you have a job? I seem to remember you talking about studying abroad or something like that. What are you doing right now with your life?
Well, I don't actually have a job really. If you count YouTube, I guess you can, but I don't actually make money here. I've never actually received a single payment from YouTube. So I don't count that. But I do technically not study abroad because I live abroad. I live in Rome, Italy, and I study medicine here. I'm studying to be a doctor. That is not I'm living here for the long haul. So at least 6 years at the bare minimum of living here in Rome.
Wow, that's really impressive. Fun fact for the people at home, I actually do have some Italian heritage myself. So can you talk a little bit about, what's the difference between, me living in Northeast America to you studying over there?
Well, I can actually definitely talk to that because I'm from Canada, Toronto actually. And I lived in the southern US, but I have a lot of family in Northeast area. But yeah, it's a world different. One thing is, everything it's a little more calm. There's a couple of people that fit this Italian stereotype of being very passionate, but for the most part, everything in Italy is very different from what we view Italy and Italians as in North America. Like here, I live in Rome. It's a huge city. There's so much going on. Things are very fast paced, but you'd very rarely find people on the phone actually usually connected, hanging out, relaxing, going out for food, and food is really cheap here, which like you can go for 2 people for lunch for under 10 euros sometimes, or 10 euros. Like, it's pretty reasonable, and it's really not all about money. People aren't focused about how much money they can make. It's just the little things in life that they enjoy together, and I think that's really a beautiful thing about living here.
That's really cool. What's something you eat for breakfast usually? Do you guys? I assume you guys probably just don't eat like cereal, like I just did a couple hours ago.
Well, consider a bowl of cookies not typical. That's the Canadian in me. Typically here, people tend to have like a little cup of espresso or a cappuccino, and like a little small little pastry type thing like a croissant is a pretty typical Italian breakfast. I grew up in Canada and the US. I don't usually adhere to the Italian breakfast. However, I do adhere to the Sicilian breakfast sometimes. This is not the only Sicilian breakfast, but this is the one I legitimately have in Sicily that I've had a few times. And that is gelato or granita. Gelato, of course, is ice cream, just better. Granita is a special Sicilian type of ice creamish type slushy thing. Best I can really explain it. And in summer in Sicily, you can have those for breakfast, and I will adhere to that.
That's really cool. And you cut out for a bit when you talk about the Canadian breakfast. What did you have back in the old days?
French toast every morning.
Oh, that's the life right there. So that's really cool that you sort of get to come from this from like an entirely different perspective. I'd argue probably most of the Marvel Strike Force YouTubers live somewhere in America. So it's really cool to have somebody that doesn't live in America currently and can sort of offer a unique perspective on everything. I mean, even really cool, you're in a different time zone than the rest of us. So that just,
Yes.
It's super cool that we get to have somebody like that in the community. And, you know, speaking of what you contribute to the community, you recently were a large contributor to the MSF for MSF campaign. You know, I'm sure all of you probably remember that because a lot of your favorite content creators participate in that. You know, what was it like to run something so large and influential to the community?
Well, that's a very long and complicated thing. Because, yes, technically I was the one that came up with the idea. And it took me about 2 days to even propose it to anyone because, admittedly, I was pretty scared about it. Like, I've never actually, I had like one, maybe two collaboration type things before, but trying to get a bunch of content creators that were much bigger in the community to me to try and agree to the same thing, it was a little intimidating at first. And you were actually the first person, and Overthor ended up doing it, agreeing to help. And Overthor was a huge help, and everyone ended up being a huge help. But admittedly, I don't know if you realize this, but pretty much all the planning happened from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. my time. So first word is exhausting. It was very tiring because I was doing tons of work in all the morning, and then I had stuff to do in the morning my time. So I was getting like 4 hours of sleep for like 2-3 weeks to get this all together. And then the night before, I was up until doing some stream 5 a.m. my time because I was fitting in gaps. So I literally woke up, streamed, then went back to bed and streamed a few hours later. And it was very tiring. It was admittedly stressful because I really was hoping that this thing was going to turn out and it was going to make a big impact. Because from day one, my channel, I've always had the same quote, the same slogan at every one of my videos. And it's, as always, I'm here to help. I always that's my goal here is I want to help people. And so I was really determined to make it happen. And many times it looked like it wasn't going to go together, but at the end, when you're like, the anticipation was really intense, but it ended up going way better than I could have expected. I don't know if you remember the total, but we ended up raising $14,853 for Doctors Without Borders, which was
that's great,
incredible. So I guess after the fact, I was inspired. It made me realize, even if you don't think that you alone can do something, one little action can mean, it doesn't mean you're something on your own now. It doesn't mean you're going to be on your own in the long run. And just one little action can have a huge, huge impact. So I would like to encourage people, because I didn't think this was going to happen, but you never know. One message can make $15,000 worth of change or even more. It's crazy. So yeah, just mixed emotions. Really honored, I guess is a good way to say it.
No, that's awesome. Well, it did turn out great. You know, all your hard work paid off, and I think it was inspiring to a lot of people in the community. And that was a really great way to end it before we start our trivia section. So if you watched the last episode, we're going to play Find the Fake again. But this time, instead of focusing on specific types of characters, I have 5 different minions, and I'm going to list off 4 skills for each of them, and I made up one of the skills for each of them, all right?
You probably got me when you got with the minions. If you went away from the minions, I had a good chance. Now, Oh no.
All right, so the first one's going to be Hand Sentry. All right, option A is going to be Way of the Scorpion. Option B is Smoke Bomb. Option C is Crippling Slash. And option D is Psy Strike.
I'm gonna say Crippling Slash is not real.
Correct. It was between Crippling Slash and Psy Strike. I was like, I'm gonna make a spin on Psy Strike, so I went for Crippling Slash, but that was good. I was thinking I might be able to trick you because some of those are really out there names. I was like, maybe you'll think I just made something really weird up for one of these characters.
When you said it, the only word I'm like, well, all I use is called Smoke Bomb.
So for Hydra Armored Guard, this is who the next question is going to be themed around. Option A, Rapid Fire. Option B, Serum Treatment. Option C, Alert. Or option D, Bulletproof Armor.
Oh no. Huh. So I feel like all of these are the names of a game. But maybe one of them is just a different minion. I'm gonna say, what was the third one you said?
Alert.
Alert. Oh gosh. I'm gonna say that one. I'm gonna say not alert.
Alert is the name of his taunt, I believe.
Oh,
I made up Bulletproof Armor. Yeah, I was actually pretty proud of that one. Serum Treatment kind of sounds like a sort of like a skill name. Rapid Fire would sound like his basic attack. I was thinking Bulletproof Armor would kind of sound like a passive. Like Alert doesn't really sound like a taunt name.
No, you definitely got me with that one.
All right, so now for the third question. This one's going to be focused around Ravager Bruiser. Option A will be Plunder. Option B is Cutlass. Option C is Avast. And option D, Seasoned Fighter.
Oh no. I actively remember all of these names. I'm going to say, oh goodness. I know Cutlass. I'm going to say Plunder.
Correct. Oh, I'm impressed with those ones. I was really thinking you'd pick Seasoned Fighter because they all, man, that was impressive. You really do know your Ravager Bruiser.
He's the bottom character on my roster. I make fun of him a lot.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about Shield Medic. Option A, Icer Pistol. Option B, Tactical Mask. Option C, Fighting Fit. Or option D, Emergency Treatment.
What was the second option you gave?
Tactical Mask.
Yeah, that's not one.
Dang. That was good. That was impressive. I was thinking maybe I'd be able to trick you up a Fighting Fit right next to him. You're correct. That was the fake one. Could work with that one. All right. Final one, Kree Noble. Option A, Imperial Decree. Option B, Kree Sidearm. Option C, Kree Allegiance. Or option D, Loyalist.
Kree Allegiance.
Oh man, that was impressive. Really good work there with the Kree Noble too.
That one I was lucky. That's a 7 red star for me.
All right, so that's going to conclude our trivia section. But now, let's learn a little bit more about what you enjoy doing with your free time. What are some of your hobbies?
Well, I used to be a baseball player, but I kind of hurt my knee, and I live in Italy now, so there's not a whole lot of baseball to do. I guess I do play a fair amount of board games or card games, a bit of D&D, and a lot of watching sci-fi, like Star Wars and Marvel stuff, I suppose. Kind of wraps it up.
That's a respectable set of hobbies right there. Do you have a favorite Marvel movie out of all of them?
Well, favorite, I'm going to have to say Endgame. Literally just seeing Captain America pick up Mjolnir is definitely enough for me to call anything my favorite. So probably that.
Now that's a good favorite movie right there. But speaking of your love for Marvel, so we get probably roughly 3 characters a month coming to Marvel Strike Force. If you had to pick, next month, who would you want to come? You could pick one more character to come to the game. Who would you pick?
See, I've had someone I've been campaigning for a very long time. And when I read these questions, I'm like, oh, I've got an easy answer for this. And someone's like, and they suggested someone else like that they thought I would have wanted because they didn't know about the character I've been campaigning for. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you're 100% right. That's the right answer, not what I was going to say. So if I didn't hear that, I was going to say Professor X, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say Peggy Carter.
That would be pretty cool. So, like, what do you have in mind for her? Would she sort of go with like a Captain America sort of team, or?
Captain America and the Howling Commandos. Even bring back Bucky as like add Bucky to the team, give Winter Soldier something to do.
That'd be sweet.
Perfect.
That would be pretty. That would be pretty cool. That'd be. Oh, like Dum Dum Dugan. He's on that, right? Is he on the Howling Commandos?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Is Warwolf on that team? I'm a big Warwolf fan. I was wondering, is he Howling Commandos?
Depends on the iteration, I believe, because there's been so many. I don't know if that would be one that would make it on the like.
Yeah, Warwolf's a bit of a deep cut. He's
yeah.
I might be the only Warwolf fan out there.
Well, there's definitely a lot. That's the great thing about Marvel. There's so many deep cuts that there are people that are huge fans of. Like, next with Black Panther, the whole White Wolf, and then there's like White Tiger is another huge Marvel character that no one knows about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good ones. Mm-hmm. So
no, there was a ton of great characters for them to add to this game. But so learning about everything, you're sort of doing with your life, you've done some impressive things with MSF for MSF. It seems like it's really cool that you've gotten to experience, a couple of different cultures. Me, I've pretty much never left my state except for a week or two to go to the beach, but it sounds like you've got to experience a lot of really cool things in your life. What's something like, what's a life lesson you think you could pass down to other viewers? As me being somebody a little younger, I like to sort of take a life lesson from the people that are older. What is a life lesson you'd like to pass down?
Yeah, I have been very fortunate. I've had a lot of experience in my life. A lot of things have happened. A lot has gone on. So I've been really fortunate with that. I'm not much older than you, as far as I'm aware. I just turned 23 like a couple days ago, so
oh, wow.
not
so
much older.
Just a touch.
Yeah, I got you by a bit. But I do have something I would say. Not everything goes the way you're planning. Not everything, but that doesn't mean it's not going the way it should. I had a very, very, very different plan for my life. I had a few different plans for my life, and none of those remotely came to go the way I expected. I was wanting to be a baseball player. I have a bit of a knee problem. I can't really do that. My meniscus isn't strong enough. And I had to stop playing that. And I was living in the United States and was considering law, didn't really decide to go into that. And I had a school I wanted to go into in New York area. And they changed my immigration status for it so that I wouldn't have been able to get the scholarship anymore, so I couldn't do that. And then just they decided that it would cost me extra to go to medical school in the US because I'm actually Canadian. So there was so much that just went on that went absolutely crazy. And it basically said, I don't really know what's going to happen here until one day, kind of jokingly said, well, I can always just move to Europe. And that's literally what I said. And then it's like, where are you going to do that? I'm like, I have no idea. I'll get back to you. And I said that at a McDonald's in the morning before like my university class in Tennessee. And I literally spent my entire class looking up European medical schools to see how everything worked. And I'm like, all right, I'm moving to Rome. And I just went home and I told my dad, hey dad, I'm going to move to Rome soon. And that was literally what I said. And my dad's like, okay, do you have this all figured out? I'm like, not really, but I'll get this figured out. And so it ends up being actually much more straightforward in Italy than it is anywhere else that I've ever looked at going into medical school. Basically, I had to take a test, but my visa was expiring in the US, so I had to move back to Canada. I moved to Canada on May 4th, and in that time I had to study to take a test in September saying whether or not I could move to Italy. So I took the test, and it was like the top 10 people from outside of the European Union would be accepted. So top 10 people in the entire world. And I took the test and I scored 11th, and I was 0.1 off from the score above me, 0.1 points.
This is intense. This is a good story. This is holy
so
cow.
I shouldn't have been able to make it in, but one of the 10 people decided to not enroll and change their mind. So I ended up moving into that 10th spot. So then I moved to Canada from the US on May 4th, and I moved to Italy on October 31st. I was working a job as like a dishwasher / cook at a really cruddy restaurant in Canada. And I gave like 4 days notice and moved to Italy. And now I'm a medical student in a foreign country, learning a different language. And this is not what I expected 5 years ago at all. This is not what I planned for. This wasn't even plan 5. I had no idea this was going to be it. But I've never been happier. And it's so clear this is what I was really meant to be doing. So even if you look where you are right now, and this is not what you're expecting, this is not what you're planning, and you have plans and they're not working, it doesn't mean you're not getting where you need to be. So just keep working, keep pushing, keep trying, and just, have a little faith. It's an important part. And just really believe that things are going to turn out good. Stay positive, work hard, and you're going to be in places you'll never expect. Keep an open mind, and you can be a lot happier than you'll ever expect in a really different life than you planned.
Well, that's like straight out of like a Hallmark movie or something. That's a really cool story. Actually, that's pretty awesome. That's really cool that you just sort of you're just like, I'm doing it my own way, and you just headed over to another country, and you just that's really cool. That's an awesome story. That's a great message for everyone to just sort of, you have your way you're gonna do things, and you'll figure it out. That's so cool. That's that's really cool. Actually, that's super cool. How you just like. Oh man, that's awesome. Well, it's been so great to talk to you today. So many cool things you've gotten to do in your life. A lot of cool stuff you do in Marvel Strike Force. If people wanted to keep, following what you do, where could they find you online?
Well, you can find me on YouTube and Twitch, both at MSF PauloP13. I do videos as much as I can. My schedule is a little crazy. But right now, as long as I'm doing Dark Dimension 3, I stream on both YouTube and Twitch every day at about 4 p.m. Eastern time for an hour, if you guys want to check that out. Otherwise, I'm all around the Discord servers and just hanging out. So yeah.
Awesome. And I will have his channel linked down below, so don't forget to check that out, guys. With that being said, can we give Paulo a big hand for joining us today? Thank you so much, Paulo.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
All right, everyone. Well, that was an incredible interview. That was just a super cool story from Paulo, straight out of a movie. It's really respectable how, things weren't working out how he wanted them to in his life. So he sort of found another way to make it work. And I think that dedication to finding ways to make things work applies to the current state of the world right now, where all across the world, people are trying to make things better for those that are mistreated. And as we're all trying to make the world a better place, I think it's important to keep in mind what Stanley once said. I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said. Everyone has influence on the world, and every day the only thing we can do is be better. To play us out today, I have Go Away I'm Lonely. He'll be playing one of his songs again.
Hey guys, my name is Go Away I'm Lonely, and I'm going to be playing my song again.
Have a nice night, everyone. Hello, my name is Isaac with an E because I'm evil. I heard there was an opening for a YouTube Red show, and I will be taking it at any cost.